大家好，我是 Beyond Gaming 的上路小亮。
So, firstly, of course, congratulations on the 3-1. Can you tell us what your feelings are right now? 首先，当然要恭喜 Beyond Gaming 战队以3-1的成绩拿下今天本场比赛。对于今天的战绩来说，那亮选手可以跟我们分享一下现在的感情吗？是那样子的吗？
心情的话还是蛮开心的啦，因为可以像例行赛一样顺利的赢下马吉，然后之后再次面对 PSG， 那有点小不开心，就是对我自己个人表现都打得不太好。
So he said that, of course, they're feeling happy right now that they managed to get the win. He said that because they won today's series, it kind of felt, he was happy that it felt similar to them being able to beat Machi during the regular season. He said he's also looking forward to being able to play PSG again because now that they've won today's series, their next match is versus PSG. He said there's a little something that he's might be a bit discontent about, and that would be just his own individual performance today wasn't the best for him. So, talking about the expectations and also the last couple of times that you guys faced off against Machi, did you expect the 3-1 result coming into today? Because your team played against them 3 times during the regular season plus the tiebreak, and you guys won every single time that you played versus them. So, was the 3-1 what you were expecting? 那今天3-1的战绩有在预期之内吗？就毕竟例行赛还有加赛是对上 Machi 的3场，都是3场全胜。
今天打他们其实我们整体是没有很紧张的，因为例行赛都赢了，那季后赛我们只要做好我们该做的，不要犯太多错，应该是都是能赢的。
So he said that for the team, they expected that they would win today's series. He didn't really bring up much about the series score. He said that they weren't very nervous, actually. They weren't nervous at all coming into today's series because they had already beat Manchi 3 times during the regular season. And he said that the entire team was just pretty confident that as long as they did what they were supposed to do and didn't make too many mistakes, they should be able to comfortably take this one home. So, talking about that game number 2 that you guys dropped versus Machi, I have to ask, did Machi's Bard pick during picks and bans surprise you at all? And just talk to us about the mistakes that your team made during that game. 那接下来想跟你聊聊，就关于第2局的赛事 ，Machi 在 BP 环节时就选上了巴德，会让你们很惊讶吗？那时还有你认为就没能拿下那场胜利的原因会是什么呢？
那一场的话，他们拿巴德其实是有点小意外，没有想到他们会选巴德，但是那只角色是在 Koala 的角色池里面，我们是知道的。然后那一场会输的话，主要是因为我们可能在预示者那波转去抓上的时候，下路线掉了太多经济，然后导致后面可能被击杀或是被塔杀，然后以及我们可能边带的时候，因为雷兹跑线或什么的，然后可能掉了一些召唤师技能或是被抓。
So he said that as to the Bard pick during picks and bans, they weren't expecting it. It was a little bit unexpected for them, but he said they did expect it a bit just because of Koala and the Bard pick. So as to the sort of mistakes that they made in game number 2, he said that there was that one skirmish to do with Riff Herald, where after Herald, they tried to go make stuff happen in top. They tried to gank top, but then that meant that over in their bottom lane, they lost too much gold and EXP at that point in time. So it kind of gave them a deficit for the rest of the game. He said that later on, also the Rise was a bit of a problem, and they kind of gave up a couple of kills here and there. They just didn't use their skills as efficiently, so they're giving up skills as well later on, and then they got caught out. So The next thing that I wanted to ask you about was, can you explain that game number 3, First Blood, where your teammates were at red buff and then it looked like you were trying to help them by walking from the top lane down towards mid, and then you got caught in the river and then you gave up the First Blood there. Can you tell us what your thought process was at that time? 那接下来想问的就是可以解释一下第3局给了首杀那时的情况吗？就是团队在红 buff 的那一波，然后你从上路走下的时候，在河道里被抓，就那时的想法是什么的呢？
第3局那时候被首杀是，一开始对面中野进了我们红区，然后我们打野先被打了，然后但是我是比赛特先靠的，所以我们在沟通要反打。但是我勾空了，然后就又有点可能我们3个人之间的沟通没有做得很好，所以我觉得还能打呢，但他们可能觉得不能打，但是我们没有沟通到这一部分，所以我就送头了。
So he said that the situation at that point in time was that over at the red buff, there was the jungle invade at that point in time. But for him, compared to I think it's a set, the enemy top laner, he was closer towards their red buff. So he was able to start getting into position faster. However, when he was starting to walk towards mid, he missed his hook on the Camille, and he said that he didn't think it was that big of a mistake to miss the hook. He said that what happened after was that the team didn't communicate very properly, because even after he missed hook, he actually still thought that the team had a chance to continue going forward with that, but he said his teammates didn't think so, so his teammates pulled back, and that resulted in him just being the only one there and giving up that first blood. So the next question, going back to game number 2, for all the viewers back home who were watching, there was that very cute play where we saw Mao An with the flash and the shield onto Doggo after Doggo got caught in the jungle. I just wanted to talk about it real quick because, I mean, we rarely see this type of self-sacrificial team play, and I mean, I know I am never going to see this in my solo queue games, so I wanted to ask, do you think that this sort of cohesive teamwork is part of why Beyond Gaming is so successful? 那接下来想问的也就是关于第2局那时候猫安的囚女，就是那时候 Doggo 是被抓了之后，然后你们都想去救他，然后猫安是用了囚女闪现盾救了 Doggo 一波，那时候就想谈一下，就因为感觉就单排的话肯定不会看到这种招式吧，然后我是想问，就对于你们 Beyond Gaming 来说，是大家都是朋友才会这样子做的吗？感觉打职业也就不会很少见。
我们护犬心切啊，我们家的狗被打了，要赶快救它。
He said, yeah, of course, they're not going to leave anyone behind. The dog of their house is getting beaten up. Of course, they've got to go and save him. I love that. We got to protect that doggo at all costs. Our last question for you today is, I wanted to talk to you really quickly about your next match, because in yesterday's interview with Maple, he said that if your team are able to kind of get back into the groove, find your groove again, then BYG will actually give PSG a pretty hard time in your next game. So I wanted to ask what your thoughts are on this, and also, do you think that what Maple said is true, that your team isn't quite playing up to your full potential? Like, what do you have to improve on for the next 2 weeks? 那最后的问题就是想问，就是关于昨天 Maple 选手是在采访的时候说，如果你们 Beyond Gaming 战队能够调整好状态的话，那接下来跟 PSG 的对战对他们来说会很难打。然后想问亮选手，你对 Maple 选手说的话有什么意见吗？还有你个人认为现在的 Beyond Gaming 还需要在接下来的这2周做什么样的调整呢？
会很难打的话，应该是客气了。因为就目前情况来说，我们打 PSG 还算是有一段差距，但是我们看其他队伍打 PSG 不同的地方，就是我们的下路线也算是 PCS 里面数一数二强，而且我们的中野联动做的也是 还不错的，所以我们在对抗他们的时候，我们的中下如果能保持好的话，然后把优势辐射到物件的时候，我们还是有机会能赢的啊。
So Liang says that straight up, he thinks that what Maple said in an interview about how it might be hard for PSG versus BYG. He said Maple is just being polite. He doesn't really quite believe that that's what Maple actually thinks. He says it's just courtesy that he's saying that during an interview. But Liang also thinks that his team does have a chance versus PSG. He says that he absolutely believes in their bot lane, that their bot lane is definitely top 1, top 2 within the PCS. He says that also he thinks that their mid jungle synergy is very good. So he says in their series versus PSG, he thinks that as long as, bot plays well and they're able to get some sort of lead, maybe mid jungle, and then just kind of stay in the game up until close to full build, then he thinks that they definitely do have a chance versus PSG. So that those are the points that BYG compared to the rest of the PCS teams do better versus PSG at. All right, thank you so much, Liang, for today's interview. Of course, good luck versus PSG 2 weeks from now. 好的，那非常感谢亮选手接受今天的赛后采访，祝 Beyond Gaming 战队季后赛加油！主播给你们咯。